Good evening, namaste, and a very warm welcome to you all to yet another episode of Lessons in Leadership. Today we have the rare honor and distinction of caucusing with a leading global thought leader, scientist, trained chemical engineer, environmentalist, biotechnologist, logician, and above all, an astronomer, and as a corollary, an astrologer who bases his entire predictive analysis on logical underpinnings. A man with enormous wisdom who in 2016 predicted much of the crises that the world is going to face till 2023 and then on to 2026. Unfortunately, just like talking truth to power, when he did speak to a number of people and he wanted to get to the powers to be, he did not get a proper audience, and as a result, humanity has suffered enormously, be it COVID, be it all kinds of economic turbulence, geopolitical unrest, so on and so forth. Given his vast repertoire of cognitive understanding vis-a-vis the realms I mentioned, and interfacing it with the realms I have considerable expertise in, which is that of geopolitics, geo-economics, and climate change adversities. Dr. Veejay Rishii, Professor Dr. Veejay Rishii, will walk us through some of the events which are bound to happen till 2026, the short term. And whilst doing so, he will give us scientific explanations as to the cause and effect, the raison d'etre, as to why something is going to happen, what caused it, what are the mitigating factors, how does one live his life, and face the future with elan till 2026. Now, let me start off with a simple narrative, which has got everything to do with geopolitics. Today, the world is the skiism is between two powers, the People's Republic of China on one side, and the United States of America-led group on the other side, the Committee of Nations, which are over the US away. Now, from 1980, China has systematically followed and scrupulously implemented their 2049 doctrine. And this has led to vast amounts of wealth being created, and 134 countries of the world today owe allegiance to China simply because they owe China money. Now, and this includes the United States of America, though they don't owe allegiance, they still owe over $200 billion to China, to the People's Republic of China. Fundamentally, let's step back and understand, as Dr. Veejay will now talk in a few minutes about the two world wars and stuff like that. But after the World War II, the Bretton Woods agreements came into being, which is the IMF, the World Bank, and much later in '94, the World Trade Organization, the third pillar of the Bretton Woods Agreement. The United States of America literally controlled the three institutions, which included the IMF. There were some countries were all the time asking as to why they should not have an international monetary unit, and why is US dollar hegemony paramount. Not many answers came forth. Even though the managing directors of the IMF are always from Europe, nothing changed in reality. And the net result is, with the advent of cryptocurrency, China now is in a dominant position. All that they have to do is to convert the kind of money which all these countries owe to the People's Republic of China into cryptocurrency units, incubate a cryptocurrency monetary fund, and that will be a direct hit at the IMF, period. This will create huge economic turmoil, unprecedented, something which the world probably would never have witnessed thus far. every market, from the commodities to the oil markets to the energy markets to the arms markets, will go into a tizzy. The common man will end up suffering. Inequalities will increase. Injustices will increase. And given that we are already in an era where lies, insinuation, and innuendo are characteristic of the political and corporate governance verticals, lies being the mother of all deceptive practices, insinuation is about casting aspersions on somebody's honesty, and finally, innuendo is to try to bring people down in the eyes of, in fact, trying to bring legendary personalities down in the eyes of the people by coming up with false narratives about various aspects of their personality. And given that this has now become characteristic of global politics and global corporate governance, rationally speaking, we are in for some turbulent times. So my first question to Professor Dr. Veejay Rishii is very, very simple. Given that rationality of expectations would make any bystander believe that we are in for turbulent times, astrologically, how would it be? And more importantly, are there ways by which, by any kind of appeasement, the ill effects can be mitigated? Over to you, Dr. Veejay Rishii.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this rare and honorable opportunity to be part of this campaign. Yes, as Dr. Kishore sir rightly put it, we are in a very turbulent phase of humanity, and this is a cycle. It is basically a cycle of planetary motions, and we always, make mistakes. Humanity makes mistakes and then learns from it. So even the Mother Nature is telling you, hey, watch out. You are in for, greedy troubles.
Yeah.
So that's what is basically happening. All countries becoming greedy. Democracy is supposed to be by the people, for the people, and of the people. But then the capitalism is grown and it's taken over. Where money buys everything. Money buys power. Money buys politicians. Money buys everything. Basically, you can buy United Nation now. With money. That's what happened. So it is time for us to, sit down on the table, negotiate and finish this, whatever troubles we are going through.
Okay.
So astrologically, if you see,
Okay.
it's a 84-year cycle of Uranus,
Okay.
where Uranus has come back to Taurus, which rules economy, and it is looking at the 8th house, which is, banks and loans and mortgage and everything. So we are into trouble now, basically. So that's what is being hit by Uranus now. It's a learning curve for humanity. So what we have to do is, not be greedy. If you see just 10, 20 years back,
Yeah.
We all went into MNCs.
Sure.
We went MNCs, corporates went from China to other countries, and,
Sure.
corporates from US went to other countries.
Yeah.
Now, suddenly, the capitalism became very greedy.
Yes.
Crony,
what they call crony capitalism.
crony capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah. So, basically, once money comes, out of control, power takes over. That's what is happening. Basically,
Very
that's what
true.
is happening.
So,
It is a planetary cycle, and I can walk you through to World War I and World War II, and then now to World War III almost.
So why don't you just do that in a brief way? Tell us exactly how it was in World War I, how it was in World War II, and why a similar kind of planetary combination is there now, and to how long will it exist?
It is basically, the cycle of, Saturn and Jupiter.
Okay.
These are the closest larger planets to the Earth.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens is every 20 years they go through a cycle.
Okay.
They either come to Aquarius
Okay.
or Virgo Aquarius.
Okay.
Which rules humanity.
Okay.
Basically, Aquarian is represented by a man,
Okay.
and Virgo is represented by a woman. So humanity, basically.
Okay.
So whenever the Saturn, Jupiter comes
Yeah.
to these signs
Yeah.
of the zodiac, they
Yes.
call it.
Yes.
So we go through turmoil periods or a learning period.
Okay.
Saturn is a tough teacher,
Yeah.
and Jupiter, gives the gift once you have learned the
Yes.
lessons.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
So basically, World War II one happened similarly.
Okay.
When monarchy was thrown away, and then we thought that democracy was coming up.
Yes.
But then suddenly the democracy turned into a dictatorship by
Right.
World War II.
Sure. Very
So
true.
what happened was, then we failed again. Democracy failed, and then we had to, remove democracy. Removed most of the, we all.
Yeah.
What happened exactly was polarization. That's the word I was missing.
Yes.
So the world polarized.
Sure.
The dictators on one side, and the other democratic, supporting countries on the other side.
Sure.
And then we conquered the dictators, which means a lot of deaths happened. 1939, September 1st, Hitler invaded Poland. That started the World War II. Exactly the same month and year when Uranus came to Taurus. There was a lot of material destruction and a lot of life loss.
Yes.
Okay, deaths as well.
So when does it happen again? The same combination.
Now it has happened in 2019, as so it's a cycle. So now we are in the third World War situation, which similarly coincided with the Saturn Jupiter cycle as well. So all three at the same time,
Till when will this happen? Till when will this combination work its wildness out?
So 19 to 23, 3 years of Saturn transit is going to move away now.
Okay.
From Aquarius,
Okay.
and then Uranus takes 6 to 7 years, depending on the retrograde.
Okay.
So it takes 7 years. So we are going to come to this end hopefully by 2026. But there's going to be a lot of natural disasters, man-made disasters, and could be a war and destruction also.
So when you say war, it would quickly metamorphose into like for example, as an exemplar, a gory war has been going on now for the last 10-11 months between Russia and a former Soviet Union state, which was Ukraine.
Yes.
Both were part of the Soviet Union, and now Russia, of course, is separate from 1990, and Ukraine was separate. And now, for some reason, Russia wants Ukraine back, and after 30 years and stuff like that. Now, I'm not taking sides. I'm just observing that we have a war, and this war is playing itself out every day. And would this metamorphose, since some countries are supporting Russia, and many more are supporting Ukraine, will this metamorphose into a grand global war, or would something else trigger off a grand global war?
Basically, the same thing is happening, sir. Polarization of the world.
Okay.
Polarization of democracy against socialism and communism. Okay. And along with a few, dictator kind of Iran and, North Korea, they're all together. Okay.
Very
so it is now we are going through a Aquarian era.
Okay.
That is a cycle of 2000 years.
Okay.
So now only democracy is going to win.
Okay. Good.
Definitely. And, whether, I believe, from next June onwards, I'm sorry, but by 24, 25, I am afraid that maybe some countries will be totally wiped out from this planet. But we can prevent it.
Wonderful.
Definitely we can
Please
prevent it.
tell me how we prevent it. That's what I want to hear. What should a common man like me do? What can people like me around the world do to save our planet and to save and to ensure that peace prevails? Can somebody like me, and I'm sure there are people like me all over the world who would really want peace more than anything else. Just tell me what we can do to appease Mother Nature, to appease the divine forces, so that peace prevails in the end.
Okay. Now, as we have seen, it is going to be remote wars. Robotic,
Kinetic,
and also drones, and
kinetic
to
warfare.
minimize loss of life.
Yeah.
Okay, but then still, war is a war.
Sure.
It is going to affect geopolitically, geo-economically, human loss, life loss, and we are going to endanger wildlife. That is going to affect the environment.
Sure.
Definitely. Look at Ukraine being destroyed for no reason. It is just it is
I
just
understand.
the cycle of the planets trying to tell you, if we don't listen to Mother Nature and the planets, our ancient wisdom, we are in for troubles. You asked for a solution.
Yes.
Okay, the solution, it is automatically going to happen
Okay.
by end of next year, probably.
Okay.
Okay, there is a positive change coming. There will be a new order set in.
Okay.
Because if you go back 84 years ago, United Nations has failed to stop
Miserably.
war. Stop the war.
It has failed miserably.
I only wonder what the United Nations chief is sitting there, watching the war go. He should go on a fast, or he should tell all the country people, to go. It is, if we civilians cannot do it, the leaders cannot do it.
Let me say one thing here, Dr. Veejay. The United Nations organization has n number of countries as members.
Sure.
But unfortunately, a junta, which is the permanent members of the members, they of the Security Council literally control, but with the veto powers. And that has actually ruined the larger egalitarian measures of the United Nations. The League of Nations, which was the precursor of the United Nations, actually wanted to have regional blocks, because then we will have a multipolar world.
Definitely.
And in fact, I should say something here, that the iconic statesman of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, when he incubated the non-aligned movement, actually did the same thing by having a lot of regional blocks, so that we don't need to get into these games of one-upmanship. Like, for several years there's only United States and the USSR, and now of course it's the US-led nations and China and stuff like that. So all this gets into games of one-upmanship. We need to have several, geographies which are doing very well, and therefore, whether it's wealth or anything, will all be very beautifully distributed around the planet. Now, given that we don't have that, what you say astrologically could also coincide rationally that war is inevitable. My question to you, sir, is again, how does a common man, what can he do? Let me put it bluntly. What can I do? I am nobody in this vast cosmos with so many 8 billion people. But I cry for world peace. I pray for world peace. I supplicate to Mother Nature for world peace. Likewise, of course, whatever way I can do to protect the environment, I'm doing it. But how does, this become a mass movement, so that people, ultimately tell their leaders that they have the power? See, in a democracy, it's people like you and me who have the power. It's not the leaders. We have abdicated it to the leaders, so therefore they have the powers. So what do we do, sir? This is a baffling question. I want to know, A, astrologically, and B, most importantly, I'm sure astrology also provides for remedial action. What are the remedies which we have to, incubate to get peace going?
So you rightly put it. See, now, again, money plays there. So if you supply me fuel, then I will vote, or I will just keep quiet. I will not vote against you. I don't. You want me to be very open. Russia is supplying all the material things to China. China is supplying to Russia, and they say, okay, I will keep quiet when the voting comes.
Sure.
Again, it turns around to money, capitalism, money. You scratch my back, I will scratch you. Okay, this is not United Nation. It is just a bunch of politicians taking their own people's lives into their hands and playing cards. So what I would say is, like exactly what happened 300 years ago, or I'm sorry, maybe the timeline, 17th century. The whole French Revolution, France and UK revolted. So as you rightly put it, the common man has the power. Today. But unfortunately, the common man is busy with the cell phones these days. I'm sorry, I'm blunt on that. Okay, so we are just watching the video game of Ukraine war going and doing nothing about it.
I know.
Okay, so I would address this, that all the World Peace Prize winners, please wake up, talk to your countrymen, talk to your politicians. Talk to your people.
Yes.
Post a lot of YouTube videos. Stop this
Motivate
war.
them.
Stop this war.
Otherwise,
the polarization has already happened.
Yes.
One simple spark. We saw last month a missile landed in Poland.
Yeah.
By mistake.
Yeah.
What could that spark into? You cannot believe.
Why? After that also North Korea sent one into Japanese EEZ.
Because of provocations.
Yeah.
Because Putin and the North Korean leader, or they are friends. He's supplying.
But astrologically, you have said that we are in for turbulent times till 2026.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. What is the solution for that? Yeah.
We all, you're saying, can just pray and try our level best to collectively rise and tell the leaders that we are the bosses and that you're not the boss and that you are there because of us and not the other way around. And additionally, you're trying to say that we can do this in a very peaceful way so that the world, this movement can spread around the world where common men can go and talk truth to power and convey their message and try their best to get to world peace. So that point is well taken, sir. Now, to the final aspect, which is climate change adversities. Since you're a known authority in this field, I want you to discuss 3 fundamental facets of climate change. First and foremost, demystify for us how did we end up being here, which is a very important question, followed by astrologically what does it signify, and finally what is the road ahead till 2026 as far as climate change adversities go.
Okay, sir. See, climate change, there's a lot of, misunderstanding in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, we have burnt fossil fuels for last 250 years or so since we found fuel.
Yeah.
Started using in vehicles and name it.
Correct.
For energy. So we need energy.
Sure.
But this was predestined astrologically. We were supposed to take out the carbon, which was trapped down inside deep in the Earth's crust, and let it out.
Yes.
Because humans have destroyed the catalyst which converts carbon dioxide to oxygen, the plants.
Yes.
We have deforested 80% of the globe.
Very sad.
So we need to let out the carbon dioxide. That is our predestined. But what we did was we started becoming greedy, started letting out so much. Each family has 5 cars, for example. And then we started overusing it. Basically human tendency is that we overexploit. That's what is happening.
And that greed led us to grief. That's all.
Exactly. And the capitalistic countries like the United States have shifted their working operations to China, and then the blame game has started. The China is producing more carbon dioxide, and India is producing. So we need to stop this blame game on environment. Sit on the table, do a maths again. How we can step by step automatically replant more trees.
Wonderful.
Those are the catalysts which convert our carbon dioxide into oxygen. And climate change, again, I will throw some more light into that.
Please,
250 years ago, the world population was 2 million. Now we are 8 billion.
Billion, B as in brother, billion.
Billion. So we are trapping 60% of the water in our human body. So much of water molecules are trapped. You should understand the exponential growth of humanity. So we need to calculate all those things. And we are also breathing out carbon dioxide, taking in oxygen. The plants are doing the same thing during the day, converting carbon dioxide to oxygen, but during the night they are taking in oxygen. So we need to find out the balance. The climate change is only finding out the water balance. Don't blame countries for carbon footprints, because we were bound to use carbon.
That leads me to a very interesting question. Water balance. I'm sure there are planets which govern water, an element of nature. Now, which planets influence water, and how would that scenario work out the same period, till 2026?
Exactly. Now, three planets are responsible for the water, which is Moon, Neptune, and Pluto. But Pluto is very far away. It's a frozen planet. So let's take Neptune and Moon. So these planets, moon cycle is causing turbulence definitely,
Yeah.
200 years of heating the Earth's atmosphere,
Yeah.
now the mother nature is downpouring, it is evaporating all the water, I told you water balance.
Yes.
So it is taking all the water from the ocean and from the Antarctica and just throwing it on the Earth, where we have depleted even the groundwater,
Absolutely.
because depleting the groundwater, it is also taking away water for the roots, for the plants.
True, very true.
So we have, taken all the groundwater. So the cycle has to be balanced. See, now we have artificial intelligence, supercomputers.
Yeah.
We can sit on the table, peacefully
Yes.
and work it out. I can guarantee in 30 years, we can go back in climate to the 50 years back how it was.
Wow.
I can guarantee that.
Wow.
And
But are the people in power listening to you? That's the key question. And
see, I want this to reach as many people as possible.
Sure.
Climate Nobel laureate Mr.
Heads of
Al
state.
Gore,
Yeah.
Spiritual leader Dalai Lama,
Yeah.
and the statesman Barack Obama.
Yeah.
If you're all watching this,
Yes.
please rise. Tell your people this is not the time for war.
Fantastic.
This is not for time for war
Yeah.
or blame game.
Yes.
See, it's
Beautiful.
almost, just think of boiling water. We are almost boiling,
Yes.
and it could explode any time.
Sure,
We are,
sure.
The whole humanity
Yeah.
as a whole is
Yeah.
reaching a boiling point.
Absolutely.
We are looking for solutions. We are
Yes.
looking for a divine influence. We are
Absolutely.
looking for God intervention.
Yes.
But
on this note, I must say that service to mankind is service to the Lord, and as he would rightly agree.
Exactly,
And
sir.
given that he is clearly provided us with a peek into the future, vis-a-vis geopolitics, geo-economics, and climate change adversities to 2026, and also given his philosophical inputs and rational thinking as to how they can be mitigated. On that note, I'll bid you all goodbye until we meet again. Adios and all the very best. And let me say on a concluding note that it has been an absolute privilege to caucus with renowned academician, Professor Dr. Veejay Rishii. Thank you so very much, sir. So very
Thank you
kind
so
of
much for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity,
Thank
sir.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.